Continuing our conversation with Rabbi Jack Moline and expanding on it, Rabbi, take me back to this question of creation and God's responsibility for the conditions that led to a terrible earthquake. Talk about that a little more. I'm trying to find out at what point we can say, why did God do this?
Well, we live in a world that was created according to God's will. If we knew God's will, we would be God, and we don't know God's will. But we do know that the world was created with tectonic plates and natural cycles that create both wonderful weather and natural disasters as well. Mm-hmm. So we are sort of at the mercy of nature until we can understand it more fully.
So we're at the mercy of nature, but then is it fair to blame God?
Well, I think it's fair to hold God responsible for the world of God's creation. Blame implies a judgment, and I'm always a little reluctant to sit in judgment of God. It may come back to haunt me at some point.
What does it mean about us? Our responsibility.
We certainly know an increasing amount about the world we live in, and we certainly have a long history of understanding human nature. So we have a responsibility to do everything we can to prevent human suffering. That's, I think, one of the major purposes that we were created with a consciousness of each other's feelings, a sense of empathy. If we don't prevent suffering that we could prevent, then we bear that responsibility for the suffering.
Yeah, and that seems to have been what happened in Haiti.
We let poverty there run amok, and as a world community, we did very little about it. Now, that's not to exempt the Haitians from their own responsibility for taking care of themselves, but we allowed that to happen in the United States, particularly right under our noses.
Hmm. And so the lessons for rebuilding, reconstruction for the future, what are they?
I think the lessons in caring for the people of Haiti are the same as the lessons of every religious tradition, that the least among us need the most attention, and that we can't afford to be simply selfish and self-satisfied in this world. Anyone's suffering is our suffering. Mm-hmm. And I might add that to suggest otherwise, to suggest that people who suffer innocently somehow deserve it for their own actions or the actions of their ancestors, that's just theological terrorism. I would object to it in the strongest possible terms.
Rabbi Jack Moline, many thanks.
Thank you, Bob.